Alright, so here's my Smithy Granite 1324 Max, and I just finished installing the DRO. Really excited about that. The milling that I've been doing and the machining that I've been doing, I'm to the point now to where I need some precision, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger on getting the DRO. It's a Shooting Star, and so far so good. Love it, and I'm going to do the install and I'll show you how to do it right now.
All right, so let's start off with mounting the display. That seems to be the logical thing to do. This is what came in the kit. Of course, you got your display. You got this big bracket. We've got the holder that's going to go in there. And on the back of the display, you have two Allens that are actually on it. They weren't in the installation kit. Okay, so this is going to go up here on the top of this, and in this little bag there is also a little winged stopper that's going to go right here in the end. That's going to hold the display from turning. So we can put that on there temporarily. And now with our bracket, let's go to the back of the machine. I'll show you where this goes. So here is the back side of the machine right underneath our tailstock. Let me move my tailstock out of the way. And there's two screws right there. They come with the bolts, and this is very simple. Just bolt this right onto the back. That thing is kicked out of the way enough to keep your tailstock from hitting it. Just like that. All right, very basic. You probably don't really need to see that or be shown this, but that goes in there, and then you can tighten this up and swing it around. Now on the back side of your display are where your X, Y, and Z are going to get plugged into. So there's some channels in here that we're going to use to run those cables up through that. And that's what the other slots on the back side of this thing are for, okay? But I like where that's mounted, actually. Now, not that I've used it yet, honestly, because I'm just now installing it, but I think it's pretty functional, and it's out of the way, you know, because my tailstock will ride back here a lot of times when I'm just doing stuff up front when I'm not using it. So that's a good spot for it, all right? Let's go on and do the X-axis now. All right, so in the last one I said the X-axis. We're actually going to do the Z-axis first, which I think is going to be the easiest of them. And this is the kit that it came with your parts list, your encoder with the cable, with the cover, your quill holder, and the spacer. So in the bag of extra pieces, I've discovered that we're going to take the long ones. Actually, you know what? I've already put this together. This is this is the backing plate, the plate that comes with that. So just take the bolts out of the encoder that were on the back and mount this. And you want orientation is going to be like this. So you want the cable to come out of the top left side, and then this little bracket right here, that's just for storage. So you can take that bracket off, or shipping or packaging, I should say, not storage. So you can take this bracket off, disregard it, put the screw back in, or the bolt back in it. All right, so let's go and put this on, all right? All right, so the first thing you want to do is put your quill mount on. And you want to position that so that it is about halfway up. There, about like that. And then don't completely tighten it, just snug it so that it stays on there, just like that. And then we have our encoder, and keep in mind now that this is the orientation that this is going to go on here. It cannot go on upside down. You'll have wrong readings, right? So, and I already have the backing plate on there. Now what we did have to do with this, because it's going to hit up here, we have to use these spacers, the spacers that come with it, and the longer bolts as well. So put this on. The other one on, you can go ahead and tighten those up because that's good enough. That's going to give us the clearance for this thing to travel. And you can go ahead and tighten these things up too. So now keep in mind, this stuff doesn't have to be drum tight because all it's doing is giving us coordinate readings, right? It's not structural. Okay, so now down here, this is why you're going to leave this loose. You're going to take another long bolt and another spacer and put those in between here. Excuse me. Oh, damn. Okay, we can go ahead and snug that up too. So that's really actually basically about the installation of it. Now, one thing that you want to do here before you tighten this quill holder up, actually I'm going to loosen it just a little bit more now that it's on there. You want to make sure that this is going to run. Now watch this loom, this split loom stuff that's on here. I'm not a big fan, but you want to make sure that, see how it bunches back up as it travels over that thing? Actually, it's not that bad, but I'm probably going to wind up taking that stuff off of there. But the end result here is what you want to do. Matter of fact, I'm going to take it off just so I can see it. You want to make sure, my head's going right in the way because I'm trying to get over you. There we go. You want to make sure that this thing goes straight so that it's not bound up in any way. You know, if I let go of that, it's still going to, you know, travel freely. Once that's like that, then you can tighten this the quill plate, locking plate thing holder up. And I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on this because I don't want that to move on us. All right, you know what, and just so you know, let me find my dikes because I don't like that loom stuff on there. You know, I know it's protection and all that, but I'm pretty good about keeping my stuff clean and oiled and lubricated and running right. I'm going to leave that off for now. I'm not sure. I may find some better stuff than that. I just don't like how it binds as it travels in there. But the other thing too is, technically, these rods are made to trim off. So you could come in here and trim some of that rod off because that's never going further than that 6 inches of travel right there. So you could whack some of that rod off, which I might do because now it's sitting above where my wrenches go for tightening up my my Visima thing deal. We'll get to that when I know what the name of it is now. All right, so that's it, and I'm going to leave this loose also because once I push this back, then I'm going to do all of these cables together, and I'll make them real nice and wrap them up. So that's the installation of the Z-axis. Let's go ahead and we'll move to, I guess we're going to go with the X because that's the front, and I don't know how to do it, so let's go tackle it. All right, so X-axis, check this out. It took me a little bit of figuring, but the best I've got it figured. And I took the loom, this is our long rod, and this is the side that's fixed, okay? That is pinned on. And so this is what we're gonna need. We're gonna need, of course, the encoder. We're gonna need one of the little angle brackets. We're gonna need the other end. It's going to stop. We need 2 spacers. Need 2 spacers and 2 of the long screws out of our little bag of tricks. Now we also have this piece. So according to the instructions, what I can read, because it was obviously not written in English. It was translated bad. This is to hold the wire with the loom, and I've yet to figure it out. So I did kind of figure out how these are going to go together, and we have to cut this rod off. So I'm going to leave this to last, and hopefully I can figure out where it goes. Right now I don't know where it goes. So I've obviously taken off the little aluminum holder for shipping on that thing. And now the orientation of this thing is the fixed end of this, the pinned end, is going towards the tailstock, okay? And so the rod has to be cut off on the headstock side. Now, up underneath is where we're going to mount this. So this bracket is going to mount to this. And then the bracket that they give us is going to go up, and it's going to get bolted up underneath, which I'll give you a close-up and show you where we're going to do that. But before we can do that, we have to cut this rod off, because this is actually going to be put on the machine this way. So it's in the orientation of the fixed end, or the pinned end is going towards the headstock, and the gear is going up on this, and we need to cut off. No, my bad. I'm saying it wrong. I'm going to put it on like this so we can cut the end of the rod off, but this thing actually has to go this way so that the wire comes out of the bottom of it. So that means that this bracket is going on here, and then it's going to bolt underneath inside. So I'll show you what we need to do. But let's start with cutting this rod. So it's going to be very difficult because you can't put this side on and cut it off that way. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take one of the spacers and the bolts, and I'm going to bolt this on this side. Then I can put the other side off, line it up, and cut this rod, and then we can turn it over and do the install. So let me get a close-up and I'll show you how we're going to do that. All right, so this is a bit cramped for me because I have this thing, I'm just able to stand inside it. So what we want to do is we want to just put this through here for now. And now there's a hole right back here that's threaded, that is just above where the motor is at the headstock. All right, I'm going to take a long screw and a washer, and all I'm going to do is put it in here and get this started. All right, so that's started right there. Now I'm going to take this and this one's, but I'm not putting the rod through it, right? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to screw that in, and now that's going to go that way. Now I have the correct length that I need. I'm just going to put the bar up here, and with it in, I can take a Sharpie. Now I just have it set right up on top there. Now I can just mark right there. So what I'm doing is I'm coming where these threads are. If I can see that, you can get to it. I'm putting a cutoff mark, squiggle it, about right there on the rod. So when I put the rod up, that's where I want this to stop. You can see that about right halfway in there. All right, so let me take it back apart now, and we'll cut that rod off, and then we can put it back in the right way. All right, so I didn't show that to you. It's very simple. I just went to the hacksaw and I cut those off. Now I have it now. The fixed end, or the pinned end of the rod, is now at the tailstock, okay? So, but before we go mount this, what I want to do is I'm going to pull these two screws out. I think it's just going to be a little bit easier before it's mounted up there. And I'm going to take this bracket. Now this is going to get mounted just like that, and then this is going up inside there. So I want to put this on first. And that's great. I just dropped that screw right up underneath the table there. I'll fetch it out in a second. This would be a lot easier to do if you didn't have a machine set up next to the wall. But I do, and I'm not going to get everything out to move it because it's heavy, as you know. All right, so that's there and there. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to take this loose one, and I'm going to go ahead and screw it loosely onto the back here. All right, let me get that started. And then, if I can find the rest of this stuff, here's that and that. Put this in here, and I'm going to stick the pin in this side, or the threaded rod. Oh, you know what? Didn't even think about that. I probably need to deburr that thing to go in this hole. Oh, I do. Damn. Okay, hang on. I'll be right back. All right, so I got it in there. What I had to do is I just had to deburr it. And now we're going to take... Now remember that you are going to put the gear portion of this thing down so that it's hitting on the encoder down there. And I'm going to put this and this in. And then all right, we'll snug these guys up. Do the other side. Okay, now they provided us with these two little bolts, and let me get down here so I can get some angle on it. This guy is just gonna, there's two holes that are already machined out up underneath here, and that is not right. Okay, so, okay, obviously I just put that on the wrong way. So I thought I was saving myself some time, and now I cost myself some time. I'm going to keep the camera running, but I put this bracket on the wrong way. Isn't that typical? Yeah, it's funny. Anytime there's something that could go, if you're building a shelf and you have brackets, you know, for the wheels, if it can go the wrong way, I'll do it the wrong way first every time. Because I'm too damn much in a hurry to thoroughly look at the directions, probably. Alright, so let's turn this guy around. Now we'll put these in. I can't wait to get this thing going. I've been doing a lot of milling, and I've been doing a lot of lathing, and I'm starting to get to where it's absolutely driving me out of my mind not having this DRO. So I'm pretty stoked about getting it done. All right, let's do this again. Oh man, that's actually a really good fit, believe it or not. Now where are those threads at? Leave that one and that one. Yeah, it's the inside ones. Come on, baby, don't. Of course, I can't see. There it is. Uh-huh. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Right there. Still confused about that other piece. This thing. I'll have the Smithy guys calling me going, "You're an idiot, man. Don't you know that thing goes right here and you should have seen it, and I can't believe that you didn't and take this video down because no one wants to see you fumbling around with this stuff. But I've yet to see this installation, so that's why I'm doing it. Because those directions are written by an illiterate, and the spelling's wrong. There's half gibberish, and there's half English, and that, or my dyslexic brain is okay. Not reading. I don't know. You know, I read the instructions and I hear Charlie Brown's teacher coming out. I'm a show me guy or a do it guy. A lot of people are, I think. But all right, so that's that. And again, that loom. You know what? Let me stand up and crank this real quick and see what happens. Yeah, actually, from my point of view right now, that bar is not moving at all when I move this, so that looks good. I don't think that we're bound up. So again, I'm going to leave that loom off for now. I just don't like it. I don't like them, and I don't, you know, I don't know. I mean, I might be really screwing myself with that, but for now, that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. All right, so let me stick this guy through here just a little bit and see what we can do. All right, and I'll finish that up. So seriously, this thing goes somewhere, they say. And it doesn't bolt onto this because the bolt pattern's wrong. It doesn't bolt. Maybe it bolts onto that damn thing. Who knows? I'll do some research on this bracket for holding this. I mean, you got spinning parts and shit. I mean, you don't want this getting caught. I know that that's going to be important, but I don't see how it goes for now. But nonetheless, we have this. The X is on. And it looks good, and that was pretty easy install, very hard to understand on the directions, but it's not that hard of an install when you figure it out. So let's go on to the Y, all right? Good. All right, so obviously I've done a fit up before I went to film this. That's why this is already cut. It's cut to length. So to do this install, it's pretty simple. This is this is going to go on the last set of holes so that this thing sticks out of the cross slide there. That's getting mounted there. And then we're going to screw these together, screw these blocks onto here, and then this chunk right here is the back side, and it goes down here on top of the encoder. So actually that's going, let me see here, that direction like that. See that? So that it gets bolted on this way. So let me go ahead and screw this on. Come on, where you at? Where you at? Get in there. You're not tight yet. There it is. Okay. And at this point, what we can do is we can go ahead and bolt the this piece down. Now you're not actually on the cross slide. You're on the yep, this. This is how much I don't know about this already, or still. I thought maybe we were gonna have to put some spacers in there, but obviously we don't. They've got it built pretty nice, so you don't have to put any spacers in it. The only spacers that we need are on the this angle iron. We just need to put these 3 washers on there to space it so it doesn't touch. Okay. God, hey. Actually, I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and go ahead and tighten this. All right. Now we can put with our short screws. This out of the way. Where are you at? Right there. That's the wrong one. All right, I'll get those tighter in a little bit. So now you have to get down here to make sure that you've got this going the right direction and that it's not going to be bound up. Now see, that wasn't, I haven't had it tight yet, so let me come over here. I think it might be a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. It's dark and I can't see. All right, well, anyways, you're going to screw that in there, and you're going to come back in here and screw this one in. And then that's it. Then we're going to, those, I know you saw that. Neither one of these are in there yet. But I can't see it. I'm gonna have to get down and get in the way. But that's how you do it. You just put those 2 in there, and then when you turn, that's all stationary. So there's one more thing that we can do is there's a back plate that's going to go on here, and let me show you that real quick. So they provide you with a couple of these bigger bolts that go in there, and then that's going to go just like that, and I'll bolt it on there. So one of the things that I'm not real happy about is the fact that I can't get my T-nut in this slot, which I have used it, so might have to come up with something a little bit different. But anyways, that's the only hindrance. You still have the oil port here, and that basically is going to be how to physically do the install on this. Now, I'll come back in just a second and we'll hook it all up and see how it runs, okay? But there you go. All right, so it's plugged in, as you can see, and hooked up. I haven't done anything with the cables. I just want to show you. And it took a second. You have to plug those in to figure out which one's which and move them if not. But you can see that that's Y, and you got X back and forth, and you got Z right here. and it all works. So something's making me a little funny. I don't know. Well, I'll have to go figure it out. I don't know what the negative. Oh, because it's not on 0. Is that right? Anyway, I don't know. Don't even know how to use the thing yet. But that's how you set it up, and that's how it goes. So now I'll tidy it all up, and then I'll start learning how to use it. All right, good luck.